Hello, everyone, and welcome into the first episode of the ATFFBall show. Today, I will be diving into the most frequently asked questions by you guys on Instagram. So let's get into it. So just to give a little backstory on me, I'm currently 17 years old, I'm a high school senior, and I'm from Twin Cities, MN. So the first question today we've got is, what do the Chiefs do with Sammy Watkins and Chris Jones? So Sammy Watkins, he's not a free agent yet. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2021. So I expect that they're just going to let this season play out, see what happens with that, and they'll go from there. Now with Chris Jones, he's a $20 million a year guy. So he's going to want a big chunk of money. And the problem is the Chiefs also are going to have to re-sign Patrick Mahomes next year. So we'll have to see what happens with that. My guess right now is that the Chiefs will franchise tag Chris Jones just to a one-year deal so that they can see how this year goes out, because they need to sign Patrick Mahomes next year, so they're going to have to figure out their cap space. They don't want to sign Chris Jones to a multi-year deal right now because they might not be able to. Now, for the second question of the day, we have, if Tom Brady returns to the Patriots, what will be the result? Now, as we all saw this past year, Tom Brady obviously had a huge regression. Now, Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. He's the best quarterback of all time. But the thing is, we don't know how much further he's going to regress. So my guess is Tom Brady will be back in New England because Robert Kraft made it pretty clear that he wants him to stay there. But I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Tom Brady is not the same Tom Brady he used to be. So right now, this isn't my full prediction. I want to look at the schedule before I make my full prediction. But I see them around a 10-6, 11-5 team, making it to not the bye week, but they'll get a wild card. They'll win at least the first game of the playoffs. But we'll have to see how that goes. Now, for the third question of the day, we have, when do you think the Steelers will progress for a new QB? Now, Ben Roethlisberger right now is 37. I think he'll be 38 when the season starts. Not sure about that. But Ben Roethlisberger's got at least a couple more years than him, and Mike Tomlin's not going to let his guy go. He led him to a Super Bowl. He's not going to let him go right now. So what I expect is that they're going to let Ben Roethlisberger play these next couple of years, and I think next year they will draft someone. So not this 2020 draft, but the 2021 draft. The reason I'm saying that is because this 2020 draft, it has some great guys in the first round, but the Steelers don't even have a first round pick. So the Steelers would have to trade up to get a better quarterback, and I just don't see that happening with what they have right now. They want to keep all their guys on defense together. Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, and they don't really have much else that they would trade to get up to that first round pick. So I just don't see it happening this year. But Big Ben should be pretty good the next couple of years. I see them going at least 9-7 the next 2 years, getting to the playoffs one of the next 2 years, and then I think they'll draft a QB and let him go under Big Ben for at least one more year just to get some experience, and then they'll probably try him out. So we'll have to see how that situation is going to go. It'll definitely be an interesting one, but like I said, I don't think they'll draft anyone. I also don't think they'll pick anyone up in free agency other than maybe someone they know is going to be a backup this year, but I just don't see much happening there because they already got their guy in Big Ben. But who knows? Maybe if he has a poor season, we'll see how that goes. Sometimes players coming back from an injury are not the same as we've seen in years past. So next question we got, where do you think the top 5 NFL draft prospects will go, and how do you think they will do in the NFL? So just like everyone else, I think that Joe Burrow will be number 1 by the Bengals. I think he should be number 1 because they need a quarterback. I think he'll step up their team to 5-11, maybe 6-10, but first year he's probably not going to be fantastic, and Bengals still aren't a great team. They've got a pretty good offense. I'd expect Joe Mixon to step it up, but 5-11, I'd probably lean more towards 6-10 for them. At second up, we got Chase Young going to the Washington Redskins. I think he's going to have the biggest impact out of anyone this year. I think he's an easy defensive rookie of the year candidate, and I wouldn't doubt if he gets 15 sacks this year. At number 3, I've got Jeff Okudah, cornerback out of Ohio State, going to the Lions. A lot of people think that Isaiah Simmons from Clemson is going to go to the Lions, but I think they need a cornerback, especially if there's all the rumors about them trading Darius Slay. They definitely need a cornerback, and I think that Jeff Okudah is that guy for them. At number 4, I got Jedrick Wills going to the Giants. He's an offensive tackle out of Alabama. The biggest problem for Daniel Jones this year was how much he fumbled. And part of that was because of the poor offensive line play, and an offensive tackle is only going to help that. So I think they need Jedrick Wills. At number 5, I got Tua Tagovailoa going to the Dolphins. this is a pick by many. If Tua Tagovailoa goes down to the Dolphins, they're going to pick him. I think Tua is the most talented quarterback out of this draft. The only thing is I still would draft Joe Burrow above him just because of the injuries that are coming with Tua. But Tua plays very similar to Russell Wilson. I'm not proclaiming him as good as Russell Wilson. I'm just saying that's the kind of style he plays, and I think he could get there if he avoids being injured and if he can just play how he's been playing all of college. And for the last question of the day, who is my favorite team and why? That's an easy one for me. My favorite team my entire life has been the Minnesota Vikings because, like I said, I'm from Minnesota, so that's an easy one for me. Obviously, there's been a lot of bad with the Vikings over the years, but I stick with them because I'm not going to bandwagon off my team. There's also a lot to look forward to with them. You got great young players like Stephon Diggs, Delvin Cook, Garrett Bradbury at center could be good. The only worries is that we might not be able to re-sign Anthony Harris. If we don't sign Delvin Cook to another year extension this year, he's probably going to sit out, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to there. I do think they will miss the playoffs this next year, mainly because of how good the NFC is this year. But yeah, there's stuff to look forward to with them, and they'll always be my team. Well, thank you all for listening. That's it for today's show. Please like and subscribe. Every subscriber helps a lot. And yeah, that's it for episode 1 of the ATFFBall show. Thanks for listening.